Um, will I get in trouble if I call Washington Poison Center or Teen Link?
Um, you will never get in trouble for contacting the Poison Center. And I think a lot of folks don't call us because they're worried that we're going to report them to the police, that we're going to contact Child Protective Services, that we're going to contact immigration, and we absolutely will not. The only other entity we might contact is a healthcare facility, is a hospital, depending on the situation. If that patient needs to be connected to a hospital, a lot of times we're able to kind of get that process going. But a lot of that, we try to do our best to be on, to meet patients where they're at. And so, whenever someone calls, we're going to ask them questions about, their name and their phone number so we can do follow up. And a lot of times folks aren't even comfortable to share their name, and that's okay. We can still provide that treatment advice regardless of a lot of that. And so, yeah, we absolutely just want to meet folks where they are and reassure that we're never going to report. We're only concerned about reducing harm from that potential poisoning.
So we, if someone calls into Teen Link, they don't have to give us any information about who they are, their age. They don't have to give us any identifying information at all. But we are mandated reporters on the Teen Link line. So if someone does call and they report any sort of like child abuse, or if they, if they're threatening to like harm somebody or like, go to a school and inflict harm at a school or something like that, we have a duty to warn there too. But we are not trying to report anybody that calls in. You can be completely confidential with everything you tell us. But we do have to report if someone mentions like sexual abuse or something like that. But if someone calls up because they've taken a substance, they're drunk or, whatever it is involving poisons or substances, that's not anything that we have to report. That can be completely confidential. We're not going to call the police or have someone come around and bust you or anything.
I like to say too for folks is like, your body is not aware of legality. It doesn't care how a certain substance is regulated. It's going to react how it's going to react. And so a lot of our treatment advice will follow suit.
Adding on to this last question, will I get in trouble for accessing social services?
You will not get in trouble at all if you've used any substances and you're wanting to seek support and go to like a physical location, like a drop-in center or a shelter. The people there are there to support you. They're not going to be asking for your ID. They're not going to be asking for things like that. They just want to make sure that you're okay, make sure that they can kind of help connect you with other resources, get you supported, connect you with a social worker. And so they're completely there to kind of just help you with whatever you're experiencing at the moment. Like Sean was talking about earlier, a lot of them are mandated reporters. So if something comes up about child abuse, about sexual abuse, they do have a mandated responsibility to report that. But for more just substance use, there's no mandated reporting on that.
I would say if there's ever a time where you are feeling like you're in crisis or there's something going on, you can always go into a doctor's office. They usually will have a social worker or somebody there who can try and help. If you feel like it's something immediate, I would definitely call 911. And again, we just want to help. And as Brian and Sean have said, there are the mandated reporters, but the number one goal is to make sure that we're keeping you safe, figuring out the best way to get you treated, and you won't get in trouble for coming to get help from us.